What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Winter has officially set in, so we've gone ahead and done the annual hat change. Got the wood stove crackling in the background, and we got ourselves a nice ash burl blank here. This was trimmed up a few weeks ago, just came out of the kiln. Let's take a look at our moisture content. Got to pull it off the bed or it gives us different readings. You can tell it's actually penetrating. So looking pretty good. Let's get this up on the lathe and see if we can't make something cool out of it. Alright guys, before we get started, got a little bit of a treat here. The people over at FindBuy tools, I don't know if there's a little subliminal intentionality in that company name or what, but they sent us along bowl gouge to try out. This gouge. The one that we are receiving here is a 5/8 inch. I wanted to do the unboxing along with you. On first appearances, I could say that it's, at the very least, packaged well. The steel used is an M2 high-speed steel. Their claim is that this piece is triple tempered and then cryogenically treated, claiming that this can hold a pretty good edge. With a price point at around 80 bucks, they're definitely going to be beating a lot of the other names that you know as far as price point is concerned. Oh man, and we got it. Alright, so yeah, I can double down in saying at least this piece is very well packaged for shipment. I wanted to try the 5/8 because it's the gouge I use primarily, size wise, in comparison to my D-Way. We'll put them here side by side. You can take a look. Now obviously the D-Way's got quite a few more grinds on her. One thing I do like about the D-Way in comparison to the feel of this is a nice heavy handle, and they actually core out this handle, and I have it filled with lead shot just to give it a little extra girth. But what we're going to be focusing on is the steel of this piece and how it holds an edge. On first, let me see, make sure I can get this in the camera. First glimpse, you might have a, I don't know, that looks a little rough to me. It looks like maybe 180 grit finish tops, and not exactly a precision grind, but hey, Alright, so since we've already got this rounded into a blank, we're going to be using our Duca Heritage alignment tool, starting with our 1/4 inch hole, the center point for the circle jig on the bandsaw. I'm going to use some smaller screws than I normally would, simply because I don't want to penetrate this piece. So with that in mind, we're going to be keeping the tailstock in place for a majority of this turn, just for the sake of safety being third. Alright, just a couple things before we get started. We do have some unfortunate cuts in the buck. As I explained in another video when we were working with this material, this stuff was bucked up before we got to it. So we're just going to make the best of it. Obviously we got the faceplate on the spindle side. That's intentional to help us maximize the overall diameter of this piece. And I've decided, since we're Gonna be trying this here new tool. We're gonna start with their factory grind and make it fair and honest review, and then from there I'll probably put my own grind on this, but we'll go from there. The only thing, see, I know the most important part about this tool is going to be the steel, how well it holds an edge. Just off the top of my head, I do want to make note that this is very light. But yeah, it is not a very balanced tool, as the steel is much heavier than the handle. But yeah, let's give it an honest shot. We're going to be starting out by rounding this piece out, and I'm just going to try and re-round this piece by bringing our radius in. And we're also going to be trying to maximize the depth of this. I don't really necessarily want to make it a tray per se with a flat bottom. We're going to try and bowl this out as much as possible, doing the best we can with what we got. So let's see what we can get done. Since we're going to have that gap in our cut, I'm going to try and get our speed up as high as we can, while keeping it relatively balanced without shaking the building to the ground. It's looking like we're going to be starting out at around 400 RPM. And now we'll get to shutting my mouth and starting some turning. Alright, let's get it. Alright guys, well, I'm about 2 minutes into this cut, and we gotta do something about this. So let's get this fixed up. I'm probably even gonna modify the angle of this grind. I'm curious to how this was even ground. It's got a radius to it. It's like a... Let's get this ground in proper. Yeah, it's... I might be able to cut myself if I try hard enough. Alright, so this is going to be a 40 degree with a swept back wing. And this is ground to 2000 grit. Let's see how that does. I would say that's much better. With a good grind and a good edge on it. And now we're exposing all our little flaws in this piece. But I do have to go back and touch it up. We'll flatten out the bottom and then we'll be able to cruise a little better. Until the bottom gets flattened out, you're gonna have high spots and low spots, and it likes to bounce your tool away instead of staying in the cut. So we'll sharpen up, we'll come in, we'll flatten this bottom, and we'll roll this around. I must say, in a pull cut, it's leaving a pretty good finish. Especially with craziness in this grain. There's no direction to this grain, it's just everywhere. Good cut finish, for sure. Alright, just got to finish this radius out, figure out how far in we want to drag a very light radius to the edge. So we obviously have quite a few bark inclusion areas, and if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this piece. So what I'm gonna do is flip it around. We'll get it hollowed out, and then I guess I will decide from there as far as whether or not we need to fill these voids, peel out this bark. We lost a big chunk there. I'd like to keep it uniform if possible, and now we can't. This is a little loose. But yeah, just in an effort to maintain momentum, I'm going to get this flipped around on the chuck. And we'll just start hollowing it. And then maybe I'll have my eureka moment inside that timeline. Every time. I am really liking this grain on this side. We're getting some really nice figuring in there. I think I'm gonna do the rest of my thinning from the back side. A little chattery with all these fractures. This one's a little sketchy. All right, I think we're gonna have to go ahead, clean out these voids, figure out where to go from there. This is gonna make a big old hole. But yeah, very, very chattery. Let's think on this a minute. Alright, now since we have high edges and a lot of dwell time in between contact with those edges, we're going to try and get the speed up relatively high. It should help to keep our cut a little bit cleaner. We'll be going in here real light, real gentle. We'll get up to about 800. See how that feels. Let's sand that one in. Not bad though. Cool. Some glue on this side. I'm going to try and put a little more than what you need so that when we sand it down there's not little pockets.
What about this crack?
Yeah, I'm going to have to make some more brass. Want to see something cool?
Help me.
Look at this. How do you think that's held on there?
Put that magnet.
So this under there is a vacuum pump. It sucks all the air out of that space and it holds it on there. Vacuum. It's done. Let's go check it out. All right, guys. This one turned into a labor of love. I fell in love with this grain. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a few times where I thought about throwing this one into the scrap bin. But I just had to keep on pushing through with it. The amount of chatter that I was getting, I don't know if we can tell here, but we're working with a 1/4 inch wall and it was fractured all the way through. So instead of putting it in the chuck it bucket, we just amplified it, fixed the fractures, made it solid enough so that we could get a good decent final cut on it. And I think the brass inlay just kind of sends it over the top. I'll leave you guys some slow rollers on this at the end as usual. So now let's talk about this tool, FindBuy tools. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit skeptical from the gate. I would say from the beginning, I was a little leery. Especially because of the weight. I think perhaps that might be because I was a little biased in that my traditional turning, because my typical turning tools, my D-Way and my Carter & Son, they got a lot more heft to them. This handle being turned out of billet aluminum, as well as the D-Way being turned out of billet aluminum and then filled with lead shot. So it feels a lot heavier in my hand. I will say the factory grind on the FindBuy was crusty. But that being said, once we got through the initial problems with the factory grind, we got a good grind on it. The thing cut amazingly. Not only did it hold a great edge, I was able to get a fantastic edge on it. Turned very well, and I think I gotta say it's a good value. It's a good value for your dollar. I personally try and stick to things made in the USA just because if you are a new turner and you're looking to get your initial load out of tools, I would say this is a good value for your dollar. So just being fair on that. In other news, you can find a discount code for the Brad's Workbench finishing system in the description. If you enjoyed this content and you are not yet a subscriber to this channel, please consider doing so. It will help us out immensely. And please, come on guys, everybody, smash that like button. Come on. bow ties, walnut bow ties, and brass. An amazing grain. I'm just playing. I love you guys. And just one more thing before I let you guys go. Please do go over to the Duca Heritage store site, ducaheritage.com. I put a bunch of pieces up on there. I think I put like 5 of them up. I have 3 more pieces to put over there, and we also have some holiday stuff, some laser stuff. We have gift tags, wooden gift tags, Santa's cookie tray. We're going to be putting up some wall hanging stuff here in the near future, like these guys, LED lit wall hangings, kind of neat. So do please go over and check out the store site, see if you can't find yourself a last minute gift. I would truly appreciate it. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.